The first thing my husband said to me when I walked through the front door, 9 months overseas, 2 layovers, 3 hours by car, was, "Your opinion doesn't matter." I was still in my Fort Campbell hoodie, my knees hurt. I had been awake for 22 hours, and he was standing in the kitchen holding my dog's collar, staring at muddy paw prints on the floor like they were a personal insult. 2 minutes later, my deployment dog was shoved out the back door into a rainstorm. 48 hours after that, Derek was screaming in the driveway in front of his entire family, and I was the calmest person there. Ranger is a 3-year-old golden Labrador mix. The Army matched him to me after my second deployment, when the sleep issues started getting bad enough that my CO noticed. He is documented in my VA treatment plan. He sleeps beside my cot. During a mortar alert in Kuwait, he was lying against my legs before the siren finished. He knows my breathing patterns better than I do. When I walked through that front door, he skidded on the tile getting to me. Muddy paws from the backyard, tail going so fast his whole back end moved with it. That was the offense. Muddy paw prints on a floor I own. Derek and I had been married 14 years. He was not a bad man at the beginning. He set the coffee pot before my 4:45 Pacific Time mornings. He drove to the next county to bring me my dress uniform when my grandmother died and I had driven straight from base. That man existed. The version I came home to had spent the last 18 months on the couch in the garage, watching football betting games while my paycheck carried the house. The night Ranger got shoved into the rain, I did not fight back. I walked outside, dried him off under the porch light, and took him to the kennel near base where my friend Marcus worked nights. Halfway there, Derek accidentally connected through my truck audio when he redialed too fast, and I heard a woman's voice answer. She asked if he had calmed down. He said, in that soft, fake relaxed voice he used when he wanted sympathy, "She'll get over it. She always does." I reached over and disconnected the call. I did not cry. I just drove. I had known something was wrong for months before I deployed. The phone face down on every table. The bank app charges that appeared on days his story did not hold. When I got back, I found a thread on the shared laptop between Derek and his brother. Subject line, "After the property sorts out." Derek had written, "She won't push back. She never does. After the divorce is finished, I'll need somewhere for Mom to land." I read that sentence 4 times. Not if, after. Like my home was already divided in his head. Like I was just a tired woman he could wait out. The next morning, I called Major Denise Ruiz in legal assistance. She listened and asked 2 questions. Whose name is on the deed? Mine, since 2018. Whose name is on the truck loan? His, but I had been quietly covering the late payments for 11 months. She paused. "Stop," she said. "Simple as that. Stop covering what he breaks. The bank will handle the rest." She referred me to a civilian attorney named Carol Fitzpatrick, who wore red reading glasses and ate peanut M&Ms during consultations and had no patience for nonsense. I liked her within 4 minutes. Carol explained the process carefully. Written notice, documentation, timeline. No screaming scenes, no throwing belongings into the yard, no changing locks. Hearing it structured calmed me down. Give me a checklist and I can breathe again. I opened a separate account that afternoon, moved my direct deposit, saved screenshots. The notice arrived on a Thursday. Derek read it in the kitchen while eating chips from the bag. Then he actually laughed. "You're not going to do this." He smoothed the envelope back out. He genuinely believed consequences happen to other people. His mother, Norma, lived 40 minutes away in a brick house full of ceramic crosses. She loved Derek the way some mothers love sons who never grew up. When she heard about the divorce paperwork, she called me directly, said, "Family sticks together." I agreed completely and hung up. 3 days later, Derek told me cheerfully that Norma was coming by for a cookout. Might bring a few boxes, temporary. I thought about the email to his brother. I thought about the word after. This was not a cookout. This was a flag planting ceremony. The day before the cookout, I brought Ranger home. He limped getting out of the truck, gray around the muzzle, old hip injury, getting Saturday was humid the way only Tennessee in summer can be. By 10 in the morning, Derek had music playing on the patio and was moving through my house like a man hosting a victory party. Norma arrived at noon with aluminum trays of food and walked through my front door without knocking. His sister Tammy showed up with her teenage son, phone recording for Facebook. Everybody smiled. I stayed quiet by the kitchen window while Ranger lay beside the sliding door watching the yard. Derek's confidence was the strange part. He genuinely believed he had already... It happened around 2:30. Derek was at the grill, laughing, when a flatbed tow truck turned into the driveway. Nobody reacted at first. Then Derek frowned. The driver climbed out with a clipboard. "I'm here for the vehicle registered to Derek Calloway, a black Ford F-150. The silence after that was something I will never forget. Derek laughed, nervous. "You have the wrong place." The driver did not laugh back. "No, sir." Derek looked straight at me across the yard, and I watched it arrive on his face for the first time, the understanding that this was actually happening. Derek walked toward me fast. "You did this." "No, Derek, the bank did. You were making the payments." "I was." His face changed. Confusion, then fury, then something desperate underneath. Norma stood up so fast her chair tipped into the grass. Ranger stood up beside me, not growling, just present. I stood too. My knees cracked loud enough to hear. I said, "You embarrassed yourself. Not over the truck, over years." Then his phone rang. Kayla. Right there on the screen for everyone to see. Norma saw it first. "Who is Kayla?" Derek declined the call too fast, too late. Tammy slowly sat back down like she suddenly wanted no part of the family anymore. The White County Sheriff's SUV pulled up behind the tow truck. No sirens, just procedure. The deputy carried paperwork. Then Derek saw the second document, the military records review regarding altered correspondence he had submitted using my information to establish false residency claims. Not handcuffs, just official attention. A paper trail meeting another paper trail. Derek looked at those pages and something left his face. Voice dropped. "That's impossible." Nobody answered him. The tow truck pulled away. The F-150 went with it. Norma cried about ungrateful women. Tammy gathered her son and left without saying goodbye. And Derek stood in the driveway watching everything disappear at once. I held his gaze. Then I said the most honest thing I had said in 14 years. "No, Derek, you did." Rain started then, just a soft Tennessee drizzle. And for the first time in longer than I could remember, I did not feel guilty. The divorce took 4 months. There were more papers, driveway exchanges, texts I screenshotted instead of answering. Derek told mutual friends the Army ruined our marriage. Then it was the lawyer. Then Kayla, apparently, because she stopped answering once things got public. I kept waiting to feel triumphant. Instead, it felt like setting down a bag I had carried so long my hands stayed curved around nothing. I missed who Derek used to be. Not the end version, the man who left coffee notes before dawn. You can know you are right and still grieve the person you thought you were building a life with. That is not weakness. It is honest. By fall, the house felt like mine again. I left my service awards on the wall, replaced Derek's recliner with a reading chair from Target. Ranger appointed himself head of household security, sleeping across the bedroom doorway with his ears up until he confirmed I was settled. Some mornings, I made coffee in that same old pot and stood in the kitchen with one hand on his head, listening to the neighborhood wake up. No game, no muttering, no waiting to see which version of someone was coming through the door. Just quiet, just mine.